Once again, we're going to be back on the Brite Ranch out of Marfa, Texas, with my good friends, the Jim White family. I've hunted with them out there for many, many years. They're on the deer management program in the state of Texas, and if you're on that management program, you can hunt mule deer at any time. The whitetail season is open. So I've been going out there just like the day or so after Christmas and hunting through about New Year's, and it's always coincided with the rut real good for me. So I like hunting like that because this is some real rugged country, and it can get to where it's hard to find those deer. If they're down in the low brush, you can find them pretty good, but they get up in them canyons, them mountains, without them rutting and hanging with them does, they're hard to find. So I'm looking forward to another rut mule deer hunt, West Texas. Well, we're back on the Brite Ranch out of Marfa, Texas, the Jim White family. I've been hunting with these people since I was a very, very young guy. In fact, I used to run hunts for them out here. One of my favorite places. I just love hunting out here. So we are on about the 27th of December. So we're gonna hunt through January 1st out here. Pretty cold this morning, a little bit of frost. Not as cold as I would like it, but deer should be rutting this time of the year. So we don't know yet. It's our first day to hunt, so we're gonna get out there and see what we're gonna do. But it's absolutely some of the finest hunting in the world in this part of Texas. All right, opening morning, I'm gonna go up the mountain. I just love hunting up there. So we don't get up there too long till we spot the very first buck. It's a 2x2. See, it's the horn sticking up above that rock. And then we run up on something we really wasn't expecting. You can stay out there for a long time before you witness this. You got 3 on the right and 4 on the left, and a little sticker sticking out and a sticker going forward. Oh, yeah. Got a bigger body. Huh? Well, we've brought a bunch of does here, and it's got a buck in the middle of them, a huge buck body-wise. Must be look like an old mature buck. Antler-wise, he's not that good, but he has some interesting stuff. He has real long G2s. He's reasonably heavy. Got a kicker off the right side of it, right horn. He's got a little protrusion out the front horn, and like I say, body-wise for this part of the country, these are desert mule deer. They're not the same species of desert mule deer that's in Mexico that grow so big. These would be smaller than a Rocky Mountain mule deer, and they have a kind of a characteristic in their horns and their antlers, and they can look a little bit like a whitetail, and they'll every one of them have brow points, which are Rocky Mountain mule deer. They may or may not, the biggest one out there may not have a brow point. But these almost all have brow points. I like to say, well, they're about halfway between a whitetail and a Rocky Mountain mule deer. But this is a huge bodied deer. We just watched him breed this doe up here a couple of different times, and she took off downhill. I guess she had all that she wanted. And he ain't going nowhere. He ain't leaving these does. So there's no hunting pressure up here. I'm the only person that even hunts up here on this mountain. And so they get, 2 or 3 days a year of a hunter being around here, but they see these trucks come up and check these little waters, and so they don't pay much attention to these trucks. But if you shot up here a few times, it'd change their personality, I promise you. But
I've been hunting out here not quite as long as Terry, but with Terry for 25 years. And in all my time hunting out here, I have seen what we just saw only one other time. So it's really interesting to watch what we just saw. We're lucky to be able to see something like that.
Well, let's move on. It's prime time. We keep on looking. We'll leave this deer here. If we keep on after them, we'll run them over in some canyon. You come up here, you think you're going to see a lot on the mountain, but they got a couple of splits on these roads that go up, so you're just seeing a couple of canyons out of probably 20 or 30 that's on the side of this mountain, so you just seeing a minuscule part of the mountain. Now they do have these little waterers here, and they tend to be a magnet somewhat. But you know, deer could be laying right on the other side of this ridge over here. We can't see unless we start hiking all over this mountain. You know, which you can do. And we used to hunt almost exclusively by walking. But you know, out here, they're used to these trucks. They'll run off from you less when you just put her around real slow in this truck than they will when you get out and start walking. You out and start walking, it scares them, and off they go. One time we'd run line on horses out here, or mules, and you'd think you'd see a lot of deer there, but them, you know, them steel shoes clicking on them rocks, you know, them deer were scared of that, and you just see them running away. So easing around these trucks turns out to be the best method. If you can see one far enough, you can get out and make a stalk on him, you know, that's what we generally do, but you can see them a little better just driving around in the truck.
This segment is brought to you by Banded. Join the Banded Nation.
Well, we hunted on the rest of the morning, but we didn't find any more the bucks that we were interested in, so by the middle of the day, we're getting kind of back close to the camp, so let's just stop in and have some lunch and we'll hit it again.
Okay, the options for lunch. Beans are not quite ready. I put them on at 6 this morning. They got to go a little bit longer. They're getting close, but we got some stew. We got some elk chili. We've got some elk sausage down in here. I've got some Christmas tamales down here that a friend of mine made in Bastrop. And then we got some chicken that I cooked yesterday, cold chicken, or there's peanut butter and jelly, whatever you'd like.
Go to lunch break. It's probably about 12 o'clock. I don't know what time it is again. Somewhere around noon.
It would be 18 till 1.
18 till 1.
In fact.
Yes. We're going to grab a little lunch, get back out and hit it, try a different part of the range. We saw a great old buck this morning. I mean, I think in my 30 years of hunting out here, that's the largest bodied buck I've seen yet. We watched him breed a deep doe, but he didn't have a lot of horn, didn't have a lot of antler on it, so we didn't kill him. Actually, he would have been the perfect deer to kill. He's an old, mature deer that don't have enough horn. And that's the one you really want to take from the management program. But we was looking for a little bigger than that, so plus he was too close to the road. It would have took nothing to load him up on the truck down in the river. We got to kill him over in some remote pocket where we had to drag for about 2 or 3 hours to get him out. So maybe we'll find that big old buck in a bad spot this afternoon. The app says it's not the right time to hunt. I don't pay much attention to that. The best time to go hunting whenever you can. And I can now, so it don't make any sense. If I was home, I'd probably work instead of hunt, but I'm not home. So I'm gonna take this little dune buggy and ride all in this brush down here. You ride around these dune buggies, you go close to deer, they'll kind of stand up because it's noisy. Or if you ride around the truck, they often don't pay no attention to it. They see these trucks every day, so until we get into prime hunting time, we're just gonna hang around in the brush down here. So let's see what happens. We took our little dune buggy and worked the brush all down in the bottom, but we didn't see anything here. We was up in here this morning and we saw that one big old bodied buck that didn't have all that much horn. We watched him, he was hung up with a couple of does there. In fact, we watched him breed one of them, but we're gonna put this trail camera up here, but I haven't been able to get it to work yet here. The signal's real weak. We got it to work a little bit down at the camp, so I know it's working if it can just get enough signal. So I dumped a little hammer time on the ground over here. We got this water trough here, so it's got to be a magnet for them. So we're going to see. That afternoon, we decided we'd go back up the mountain. You know, that's a prime place of hunting, and you don't see but just a little bit when you're up there. So it's just a matter of hanging out till the zigs and the zags cross. And sure enough, we found this same old buck that bred the doe this morning. He's going to give me one chance too many one day. We're back at the camp. We have the famous Joe Beal from Austin, Texas, Bastrop, Texas here. Famous all over Central Texas. He's a Maine waterman. And he's our chef, our cook. When you can have somebody like him come and cook it for you, he's a good cook actually, you know, he really cooks really good. When you got somebody like that cook for you in a deer camp, you're doing all right. So We're gonna have a little dinner. If Joe ever gets it ready, we may have to stop taking him hunting in the afternoon. He may have to stay here and cook. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And we'll get a little sleep, and we'll be up an hour or two before daylight in the morning. We'll do it again.
What we have tonight is a failed pork butt roast that I attempted to cook on a smoker that I use in Texas. But we're at elevation 4,500, 5,000 feet up here, and the high temperature today was about 42, 43 degrees. And the bottom line is, after 7 hours of cooking, my pork butt roast wasn't done. So we come in from hunting, saw some great deer, and I realized at 7 o'clock, when Terry and Annette and Jared, our cameraman, are ready to eat, I have half-cooked food. So, got in the freezer. I got some enchiladas that my wife Nancy made for us. Put them in the oven. Put the pork roast in the oven because it's going to have to cook for a while. I've got some wonderful beans here. I made some rice. Got some tortillas. And took some enchiladas and heated them up. And so we've got a wonderful meal tonight, but about an hour late.
This segment was brought to you by Stoger. Works as hard as you do.
All right, y'all, get your plates.
Well, morning number 2. We had a good day yesterday. We didn't see as many deer as I'd hoped we would, but we've seen this big old buck twice. Big bodied buck, don't have quite enough horn, you know. Watched him breed a doe. He's been hooked. He's hooked up with some does up there, and he won't leave them. So if them does don't leave, he won't. But we hunted in the brush down low here in the buggy some, and we never saw a deer down in here. So it was the middle of the day. That's not the best time of the day. So what we're doing is we're leaving the camp here. We can start hunting right here, but we're leaving the camp here just as we get just a little dab of light, and try to get over to the base of the mountain just by the time you can see pretty good. It is cloudy this morning and the wind blowing. There's not a star up there, even though the weather forecast continues to say by about 8 o'clock, which is just slightly after daylight out where we're at, that it'll be partly cloudy with the sun shining. So we shall see. For it to do that, these clouds are going to have to go away. So I don't know if they got the weather right or not, but one thing's for sure, ain't nothing we can do about the weather. So all we can do is jump in this truck and go hunting. So come on. Well, we got a new factor to inject into the equation here. Up on the mountain where the waterers are, and we've left the deer all up there peacefully browsing. The top of the mountain's socked in this morning. It's 29 degrees down here in the valley. It's cloudy, and you can't see the top of that mountain. If we go up there, you don't see anything. We finally get the fog to lift a little bit, so we start easing up the mountain, following the fog rise and going up that way. And so we get up pretty high on the mountain and run into a ice fog. I've seen that out there before. It's beautiful. That fog is just in the freezing temperatures, and it coats all the vegetation with fog, which is basically dew, and then it freezes, makes an ice fog. Wonderful sight. All right, after the ice fog, we just start slowly working our way off the mountain. We run into some deer. We see quite a few bucks, but nothing to get excited about. That night, the White family is going to come over and eat with us in their camp. That's why we bring the famous Joe Beal along with us. He's a good deer hunter now, but he's a much better cook.
All right, we got some wonderful ribeye steaks here. Been marinating all day long. I got a mesquite fire. I just cooked a little bit of elk for an hors d'oeuvre. I'm gonna throw these on, and they are gonna be superb tonight. Isn't that pretty meat?
Well, we've been in a struggle the last couple of days. Weather's been real bad. It's been cold. It's been a lot of moisture in the air. Ice fogged up, froze up all the water tanks. And about the last day or so, we haven't seen any deer. So a lot of deer to start to hunt with. Hadn't seen any since then. Beautiful day today. Warming up. It's up to 52 degrees down here at the camp. I don't know what it is up in higher elevations. You know, we went out this morning. Again, did not see a deer. But every water trough we passed was froze over, so I guess the deer just kind of waiting for the water to thaw out to get up. I hope that's the case because it's got to be thawed out right now, so we're going to go kill one.
We done got down to push come to shove, so I have found us a lucky horseshoe here, and it's going to be the deal. This is the deal, Joe. I just barely see the head of some Aoudad right there. Let's ease down this road. I couldn't tell anything about them. I just know they're Aoudad. That's all I know. Let's just ease right up around this bush right here.
Just puttering up the mountain. The water's been froze all morning. I think that's why we didn't see very many deer or any other wildlife, but it's thawed out now. So, and puttering up the mountain so that we come across a place where I could see just the horns of some Aoudad over the hill. So I killed that buggy, get out and make a stalk. I don't know if it's a shootable Aoudad or not, but we'll see if I can get up close, take a look at him, see what happens.
That's the way mountain hunting is. You just never know what's going to happen until it happens. So he disappeared behind this bush right here from us, and we're going to ease up here and see if we find him. That dude did not go anywhere. That is a big Aoudad. Well, here he is, folks. This is a big, old Aoudad. Look how heavy and long he is. Look how big his body is. We kind of stumbled up on him so fast. It happened so fast we didn't have time to do much other than just get out of the buggy, put a little stalk, and kill him. But when I looked up here, I could see he was, of the three I could see, I could tell he was by far the biggest. And so I popped him on the front leg here, like he run about 20 yards. If you'd like to go on a nice hunt like this, you need to get a hold of Quattro White, Jim White IV. They do a lot of the hunting there. They have a lot of mule deer. They have a lot of quail. They have antelope. They have a lot of these Aoudad. They've even put some, the Texas Parks and Wildlife has put some bighorn sheep in here, but they're not yet hunting them, but they will in future years. But if you want free-ranging, totally wild Aoudad, this is as good a place to come as I've ever seen. We're going to put all his information on the screen, but the best way to get a hold of him is just go to MOJOOutdoors.com.
Click on the TV link, click on the Outfitter sublink, scroll down alphabetically. It'll be under Brite Ranch, B-R-I-T-E, or Jim White or Quattro White. They give you a link right to them. You ought to get a hold of them. You ought to come out here and go hunting. But that's about all the time we got for today. For all of us at MOJO, I'm Terry Dillon. God bless you. We'll see you again next week. The remedy is we got this 500-pound Aoudad up on the front of this little buggy. And we got a leak in the tire and it's gone flat.
All hunts seen on MOJO TV are fair chase.